They say secrets in the royal family are like perfume in a crowded room. You can try to hide it, but eventually the scent seeps out, lingering until everyone's whispering about it. And when it comes to Harry and Meghan, whispers don't just fade into the background. They explode into international headlines. So picture this: panic, real panic, rippling through Harry's circle when words like cover-up and hospital records began splashing across the media. It was like a bomb had gone off. And at the center of it, none other than Tom Bower, Britain's most feared investigative writer, a man whose words have toppled reputations and left royals trembling. This time, his shadow was falling over the birth of Harry and Meghan's daughter, little Lilibet Diana. On paper, a royal baby should be pure joy, balloons, smiling parents, proud announcements. But let's be real, nothing involving Harry and Meghan is ever simple. From the moment their daughter arrived, what should have been a straightforward celebration twisted into something darker, stormier, full of questions about names, documents, secrecy, and whether there was more to this birth than anyone was willing to admit. Imagine it. The whispers didn't start on shady gossip blogs or crazy forums. No. This began inside London's elite royal reporting circle, where every eyebrow raise becomes a story. People murmured that something about Lilibet's hospital records just wasn't adding up, that files were being guarded like state secrets. That information was locked away so tightly even seasoned journalists couldn't get a whiff. Now, under normal circumstances, this would mean nothing. Medical records in America are private, period. HIPAA law makes sure of that. But when you're dealing with the royals, where births are usually accompanied by pomp, announcements, even televised moments, the silence felt suspicious. And suspicion is gasoline on the fire of gossip. And the timing? Oh, it couldn't have been worse. Harry and Meghan had already broken away from the palace, branded outsiders after that explosive Oprah interview. To even hint that they might be hiding something about their daughter's birth, it was the perfect recipe for scandal. The word cover-up began to take flight, and once that word attaches itself to the royals, it's not about papers anymore. It's about legitimacy, about trust, about the very foundation of royal tradition. But then, like a cold splash of water, facts stepped in. Weeks later, California state officials released what they always release, the official birth certificate. And there it was, black and white. June 4th, 2021, 11:40 a.m., Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital. Mother, Rachel Meghan Markle. Father, His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex. Stamped, signed, public. That should have ended it, right? Wrong. Because if there's one thing gossip loves, it's a puzzle. And suddenly people weren't satisfied with the certificate. They pounced on every detail. Why did Meghan appear under her legal name while Harry's sprawling royal title filled the page? Was that their choice or some kind of protocol? Why did it take weeks for this certificate to surface? Why did it feel like pulling teeth to get something so basic? In the court of public opinion, every blank line is a clue. And with Harry and Meghan, every clue becomes a headline. Here's where it gets messy. Yes, the certificate existed. Yes, it confirmed the basics. But instead of calming the storm, it just added more lightning. People zoomed in on every word, every formatting choice, every delay in its release. And in the world of royals, a delay isn't just a clerical hiccup. It's practically a conspiracy theory invitation. Whispers swirled, why so late? Why so cautious? Why the secrecy? And then the gossip really took off. Some insiders claimed hospital staff had been silenced, reminded again and again about confidentiality agreements, with rumors of non-disclosure forms circulating like forbidden letters. Even in hospital break rooms, staff allegedly kept their lips zipped, terrified of saying the wrong thing. To skeptics, this wasn't normal privacy. This was lockdown. Something about this whole birth felt off. And you know how people are. When a door is locked, they start wondering what's being hidden behind it. So now, two versions of the truth clashed in the headlines. On one hand, the perfectly ordinary story. A mother gives birth in California. Her medical records are sealed like every other American's. On the other hand, the juicier tale, records so guarded they must contain something scandalous. And in gossip land, guess which story wins every single time? The whispers didn't fade with the birth certificate. Oh no, they grew louder. Then came another curveball. The official palace website, where every royal's place in the line of succession is logged, dragged its feet on adding Lilibet's name. Normally, this is instant. Baby born, name logged, position secured, done. But not this time. For weeks, nothing appeared. To the public, it looked like an insult, a slight, a delay dripping with meaning. Was the palace hesitating, waiting for clarity, doubting the paperwork itself? Nobody said that officially, of course. But in royal gossip, silence is louder than any press release. For Harry and Meghan, the delay was humiliating. Their daughter wasn't just their child, she was their symbol of independence. Seeing her excluded, even briefly, cut deep. And for the tabloids, it was blood in the water. Every day of delay was another headline, another round of speculation. And then, enter Tom Bower. By the summer of 2022, the man was already infamous for shredding royal reputations. His book Revenge was a dagger straight into the Sussexes' image, painting them as reckless, divisive, and forever at war with the institution they abandoned. When Bower speaks, editors listen and readers devour. So when he started highlighting contradictions, naming disputes, timeline oddities, and yes, those whispers about hospital secrecy, the firestorm exploded. Suddenly, what had been gossip in corners became headline news. Bower didn't need to prove a cover-up existed. He only had to amplify the gaps and magnify the silences. And just like that, whispers became narratives, and narratives became truths for millions of readers. The word cover-up wasn't fringe anymore, it was mainstream. If the birth certificate was the state's way of stamping approval, then the christening was Meghan and Harry's moment to slam their stake into the ground. And oh, did they do it with flair. On March 3, 2023, in the heart of Montecito, they held the baptism of their daughter. Intimate, private, carefully controlled, yet somehow the details leaked faster than champagne at a royal reception. Gospel choir, check Archbishop of Los Angeles presiding, check and the headline grabber, Meghan and Harry finally used the title Princess for their daughter. Princess Lilibet Diana of Sussex. Let that sink in. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't coy, it was bold, loud, and deliberate. After months of silence, delays, and speculation, Meghan and Harry planted their daughter squarely in royal soil, daring anyone to challenge it. And if that wasn't enough to make royal insiders choke on their tea, the Godfather reveal surely did. Tyler Perry, Hollywood mogul, billionaire filmmaker, the very man who sheltered Meghan and Harry when they fled Britain, was now officially bound to the House of Windsor through godparenthood, a Hollywood power player tied by faith to a royal baby. It was part fairy tale, part Netflix drama. But of course, no Sussex celebration comes without shadows. Allegedly, more whispers trickled out. Hospital staff had been bound by even stricter non-disclosure agreements than usual. Small details, like the nurse on duty or the birthing suite setup, were locked down so tightly you'd think they were guarding nuclear codes, not a delivery room. And while Meghan and Harry were proudly proclaiming their daughter's princess title across the ocean, palace corridors in London allegedly bristled, using princess so boldly outside Britain's shores without the palace framing it. Was this defiance? A challenge? Or simply a rightful claim said out loud at last? Every side had its story. In America, Meghan and Harry looked triumphant, reclaiming their narrative. In Britain, whispers painted it as yet another Sussex slap in the face of tradition. And in between, a storm of speculation that refused to die. Because here's the kicker. If Meghan and Harry had nothing to hide, why did every step feel wrapped in shadows? Why did each announcement feel like it was dragging through controversy instead of clarity? For every document they showed, there was a detail they didn't. And in gossip, it's not the facts that stick, it's the gaps. The result? A child born into both privilege and suspicion. A princess whose very birth certificate is scrutinized like a crime scene. A little girl growing up in the shadow of whispers that started before she could even crawl. And for Harry and Meghan, the stakes were even bigger. Their daughter wasn't just their child, she was their declaration of independence. Yet her paperwork, her recognition, her title had become a battlefield, proof that their war with the monarchy wasn't over. It was only passing to the next generation. And this is where the story lingers, like perfume that won't fade. Because here's the truth, no one outside a tiny handful of officials will ever see those hospital records. US law guarantees that, which means the debate. It will never end. For every birth certificate that exists, there's a vacuum of information that can never be filled, and that empty space is exactly where gossip thrives. For Lilibet herself, it's both a crown and a curse. Officially, she's eighth in line to the throne, her name etched alongside centuries of history. But she's also a mystery, a princess whose first days on Earth sparked questions about secrecy, legitimacy, and palace politics. She didn't ask for this, but the whispers cling to her like a shadow. For Harry and Meghan, it's even sharper. Their daughter became more than their joy. She became a symbol of defiance, proof they could shape their own royal narrative. Yet ironically, that same narrative turned into another battleground. Every delay, every contradiction, every bold title announcement gave fuel to critics who already doubted them. Their independence became just another headline about chaos. And for the monarchy, oh, the vulnerability it exposed. Silence may have been their strategy, but silence in the world of royals isn't protection, it's provocation. Every quiet non-answer only fed the fire. Every delayed recognition turned into suspicion. The institution that thrives on order and tradition suddenly looked shaky, reactive, outplayed by gossip itself. So where does it leave us? With panic that still hums beneath the surface. Because when it comes to the royals, truth isn't just in the documents. It's in the gaps, the silences, the things left unsaid. The records may show 11:40 a.m., Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, but history will remember the whispers.